Well, hello everyone. This will be the instructor video for the first quiz. Before I kind of jump into this, I want to let you know that I have sent everyone that submitted their quiz to Turnitin.com a response today. That's going to come to you from DG Thiel at TimeWarnerCable.com, TWC. If you didn't get one, because I have sent out all those emails, make sure you check your junk mail or spam mail, see if it actually went there. And then if that's the case, make sure that mail is always viewable to you. Okay, now first quiz, 10 points. That's a big number. There's 4 quizzes for 10 points, and then a midterm and a final paper. That's 25 points each. That's 90 points, and then you get 2 points each for the 5 discussion board postings. And you just don't want to lose any of those points. I mean, you may not receive the full points for everything, although for the discussion boards, if you actually make the postings, I'm going to give you the 2.5. I want to see good postings. If you make weak postings, I may send you an email saying you need to beef it up a bit. But if you made the postings, you're gonna get the credit. The first quiz, generally those that submitted it did very well. There was a good number of students that actually received 10 out of 10 points. Which is, for me, I love to see that. It means you put some effort into it and thought through this a bit and use some critical thinking skills. That's what this course is all about. But you can't get any points if you don't submit your work, and that's one of the things I've tried to nag on in the syllabus and other video even. And you just can't let these deadlines pass you by. Got to get your work in on time. There's just no extra credit in this course, and there's no late work that's accepted. So for those of you that got it in all your work in on time so far, keep it up. You'll do very well. Now, just briefly on this, the first question, is a standard kind of thing that if you think through this, you realize that isn't it possible just opens the door too wide. If you have any kind of intellectual humility, you could almost think in this big, huge universe of ours, we don't even know, most of us don't fully understand how it is that, it could just go on for almost seemingly forever, although apparently there are boundary lines of the universe if you understand something about the Big Bang Theory. But then the question is, well, what's on the other side? So, wow, what is actually possible? Isn't it possible? Now, the tricky part of this was Henry Fonda in the movie used that line, isn't it possible? When he should have been using a little, is it reasonable? Is it possibly reasonable to suppose? And that's actually what he did. He used the word isn't it possible, but then he presented some reasons why it could be possible. Because what a jury is tasked with is finding a verdict beyond a reasonable doubt. And that's not the same as beyond any doubt, because if you open the door too wide, you couldn't convict someone of anything. We had the invasions of the body snatcher. It really wasn't them. Or, isn't it possible? So I was looking for some critical thinking there to make a distinction between the notion of isn't it possible with beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay. Almost everyone that submitted a quiz found some way to answer number 2. We all know why stereotyping is bad business, because even though there is such a thing as a kind of typical behavior maybe of some persons. I think put the Hells Angels in here. There's a lot of them been arrested for crimes. But it doesn't actually translate into that every single person that ever got the colors of a Hell's Angel is a criminal. Stereotyping is done all the time, and it's bad business because it simply isn't critical thinking. You have to understand that if you just characterize someone based on a generalization, you're not treating them as an individual. You're treating them as some sort of must represent what their group seems to represent kind of thing, and that's just not always the case. Now, a lot of you on this number 3, you were maybe not, I really was looking for you to identify a criterion, and some of you tried to go through all four. Well, and I gave you a lot of credit on these because each one is worth 2.5 points, and a lot of people didn't answer it with sufficient grounds for number three. But I still maybe only took off a point, if that. And because sufficient grounds is really the one for that. Remember, this juror said you can throw everything else out. I don't need anything else. This is it. This is what I'm going to stand on. I'm making my case on this. Everything else, throw it out. This makes my case. Well, when that thing started to come into question, I think that was the woman that made the identification, and then her eyesight became an issue, and whether she had glasses on or not, and reasonable doubt started to appear. The problem is, if you base an argument on just one criterion only, then you haven't built sufficient grounds. It's you don't want to stand on one brick. It's kind of hard to do. If that brick crumbles and you're lost, you want to set yourself a nice little brick pattern. Multiple and interconnecting reasons that help provide the sufficient grounds for your argument. And the last question, it's an interesting one. I had a textbook I used for years that the author wanted to say that emotional appeal to emotions was a fallacy. And I always disagreed with that, because appeals to emotion, if it's just unreflective emotion, just raw emotion without any reason attached to it at all, can be dangerous. I use this interesting example of one of your relatives or friends is apprehended by the police, and immediately because of the emotional attachment you have for this person, you deny they could be guilty of anything, or they didn't do it, and the police are lying, and all these other kind of things, or you don't want to have them surrender to the police, et cetera, et cetera. May not be that kind of raw emotion can be dangerous, but if you do reason it out, and you look at the facts and you realize that, oh my gosh, the evidence is strong, or even, let's say, the relative or friend admits to you their wrongdoing, it's not like your emotions just disappear. It's not like you no longer care for them or have any interest in them. This could be a question even of when you have children. Your child gets involved in this, and you're always going to love your child, but we call that unconditional love. Parents love their children, and come what may. But you might still, in terms of you don't have to you can't just throw that emotion out the window. So how do you deal with that emotion? And one way would be to certainly support and give comfort, but at the same time decide that the best thing is that your child be surrendered to the police, or that you cooperate at least in some way with trying to keep the community at large safe, at the same time not abandoning the love and the care that you have for your child or your other loved one. So emotion's going to stay there. We're not going to get rid of it. It's almost like Star Trek and the dialogue between Captain Kirk and Spock. And you folks might not have seen the old TV series, but even in the movies that they made on this, that kind of comes into play, where Captain Kirk accuses Dr. Spock of being all Vulcan logic, without any without heart, and compassion or whatever, and compassion and these kind of things are emotions. They appeal to our emotions, and even in our criminal justice system, there is room for some compassion. It doesn't usually take place at the trial so much as it does in the sentencing. When the judge actually takes a look and has some options about sentencing, then some arguments are made by family members and others that try to appeal to emotion to some extent, in terms of the person's character, the person's life, which has not always been what maybe the crime that they did is not representative of actually who they are. So emotion is a part of being a human being, and it has a place in critical thinking. It's just that it needs to be it just can't be unreflective. Okay. All right. Well, I don't want to go any more, belabor this anymore. The quizzes that were submitted were sound. There was some really good quizzes where the person, would write a half a page or more on each question, which showed a, kind of a commitment and dedication to the process. Okay, so then, move forward. You've got your 2.5, excuse me, your 2 points to earn with a discussion board posting for this week. You can do that, and then I have posted these things in your in the course shell, so you can self-monitor your grade, and it's a good idea to do that. Go in there and say, gee, he said I got 9 points in my email, but I've only got 8.5 in my course shell. What's going on? Well, is there something wrong? Hey, there is something wrong. Email me, let me know that what I sent you in an email doesn't match what I put down in the course shell. I mean, I hope they're all correct, but it's a good idea to monitor that, stay on top of it, self-check and see where you are. Okay, well, I wish everyone well. Continue on, and we will. I will respond back to you with some comments when you make your postings. There's directions on how to do that in the course shell. You make your postings as directed, and then what happens is if you made the postings, I will credit you the full amount, and then I will actually get back to you. I generally reply to everyone who made a posting. I will send you a reply. I'll do that early next week. Okay, well, take care. You'll have a good weekend, and I'll be working with you later.